Hey guys, so I'm in the back of my studio right now and waiting for an executive headshot to come in, and I wanted to talk about an interesting idea that was inspired by a video I watched yesterday between Mark Cuban and another dude. Anyways, it was interesting because Mark was asked. The guy's name who was interviewing him was Patrick David. He's got a really good channel. You might want to check it out. Actually, I'll put the link to it down below. Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's not very long. So, Mark Cuban's one of my favorite entrepreneurs. And he was asked the question, what about the value of going to school? Is it valuable? And you hear this question quite a bit. And Mark's answer was definitely. Now, here I'm thinking, when Mark answered the question, he says, if you go to school, you learn accounting, you learn all this business stuff, and it'll help you later on to analyze information and to be on top of your bookkeeping and the numbers and everything of that sort. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, okay, fine, that's good. But what if you take some weird course that is irrelevant? So I would like to add an addendum to that, and that is that school is good. I mean, minimally, school is good because it teaches you how to read and write really well for the most part and do research. And it teaches you discipline, assuming you're going to go ahead and do the best that you can do. So, I just want to keep that in mind, and surprised that Mark never mentioned that, because he did mention accounting. And I thought, well, yeah, okay, cool. If you're going to go to school, I always tell people this, if you're not sure what to take a business course. Or if I'm talking to a youngster and they're in school and they're taking business, I'm like, that's pretty good. Because generally speaking, it'll help you across all industries in some way, shape, or form. But anyways, I mean, if you want to become a doctor, a nurse, if you want to become a biologist, a botanist, you want to learn construction and you have to go take a course and get certified, that's all fine. But the overall reaching question that was asked of Mark Cuban was, what is the value of going to school? A lot of people think a lot of the degrees, and I agree with this, by the way, for the most part, a lot of the degrees are useless, especially anything with the that ends in studies. Like if you take history or you get an English major, and if it's loaded with propaganda, it's going to really narrow your focus insofar as what you'll be able to do with it later on in life, unless you end up going into teaching. So, however, all that being said, I thought back to my history, my life as a photographer. And I recalled the time back around 1986, where I actually took a night course in small business accounting and management. I completely forgot about that. I was like, yeah, I took that, didn't I? And I also signed up with a program that was offered through the government for business development, which was really cool. They sponsored it and they paid most of the fees. You had to kick in some money. And it was involved a monthly speaker guest, which typically was somebody who was brought in from out of town. So they were usually pretty good speakers and presenters. And I attended all of those. And I really got a lot from them. So my point being that I don't know where I had the wherewithal to take all these courses, but at some level, and I'm glad I had this, at some level I had the drive, the ambition, and I had the desire to want to grow and learn. So this aligns with what Mark Cuban was saying. When you go to school, you learn accounting, you learn bookkeeping, you learn business strategies, which is going to help you in life, in business. And I can't stress this enough for anybody, especially anybody in the arts. If you're a photographer, a lot of us suffer from the artistic sort of mindset. I'm an artist. I don't have to do business. Or they look at business and making money like it's a bad thing. I'm not sure that that's such a good idea. I'm not sure that that's such a positive mindset. So I've taken business and profit very, very serious, and it's served me well. I mean, that's what business is all about. It's not about greed. I'm not talking about being greedy or doing dastardly deeds in order to get ahead. I'm talking about knowing how to run your business in such a way and knowing as much of the technical side of things as is possible so that you can be aware of them and make smart decisions and move forward and progress down the right path. This is very important. So you'll notice a lot of people through their lives, when they're growing up, if their mom and dad owned a small business, a mom and pop, say a store or a flower shop or whatever, and if they were introduced into the business and they were active participants in the business, they often grow up and they have that mindset already, and they're quite fortunate in that sense. So, but we can develop that on our own. So it's important to know that, and to know that, you know what, I need to expand my knowledge, because there's more to my knowledge base than I'm aware of. And I've always been very, very curious and always pushed the envelope in many of these areas. So I think back also 21 years ago, 1999, 2000, when digital photography became a thing. And in our studio, we were probably the first or one of the first photography studios in Canada, possibly one of the top first 10 or 20 in North America that went digital. Nobody was going digital. And I have a lot of darkroom experience, and I knew it was coming, so I knew to jump on board early. I'm an early adopter, so to speak, but that's not the point. The point is that I signed up with Photoshop User, the magazine. It was a big, still is. And I ordered a whole bunch of video cassettes. You remember those video cassettes? Now you would just download them, get them all online. But the idea is this, is that I ordered them and I would sit and watch them after hours with my notepad. I had a notepad and I would make notes and I would write everything down, because I had very, very little knowledge insofar as how Photoshop worked, but I was eager to learn, and that was one of the very, very first things I did, as well as going and attending live workshops. There weren't very many at the time because there were so few doing actual Photoshop, but I was eager to learn it and figure it out, and I did. So now everybody's doing it. So anyways, there's a comment that was made, I believe, by Mark Cuban in this video, and he said this: "What do I have to do to kick myself in the ass?" Or in the butt. Yeah, no, he said ass. What do I have to do to kick myself in the ass? This is a good rhetorical question, I think, that we all ought to ask ourselves, and and also take the core message that Mark Cuban was really delivering to everybody. If you're in business, you will serve yourself by constantly improving yourself through education, either formally or informally. If you're going to an academic level, if you're going to pursue knowledge on your own or via some coaching program, what have you, it's one of the best things you can do. And I was telling my daughter the other day, one thing that I've done in my career was, as I was willing to go the extra mile. And when we're talking about learning new stuff and educating yourself, whether it's accounting, marketing, selling, or something technical like Photoshop, you're learning a new skill set, or you're learning how to manage better, whatever it is, I've always felt that I've always had the ability to go the extra mile. And in my mind, I always thought that that's my superpower, because I'm willing to do what a lot of people are not willing to do. Something to keep in mind. All right. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the comment section, and do subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it. I'm out of here.